So I've been playing drums since I was 3 years old, and I'm almost 28 now, which means that's 25 years of playing this instrument, learning, making mistakes, and kind of just getting through it. There are plenty of mistakes that I could have avoided, and if I did avoid those, I would be a much better drummer than I am today. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 mistakes that every drummer should avoid, and if you don't avoid these, your progress will slow down, you will be a worse drummer, and you may even go deaf. Starting with mistake number 1, get a teacher. So the amazing thing about the internet and all this free online education, which is what I'm giving you right now, is that you don't technically need to pay for anything. If you get a drum set, you go onto YouTube, you type in free drum lessons, you will get a bunch of stuff that you can learn and watch and get taught how to play the drums. The problem with that is that YouTube and online stuff is search-based and attention retention focused, which means that you as a drummer who is learning how to get better at this instrument will not have a plan that has structure. You will just have one-off lessons here and there, and the point of these lessons is to just grab your attention. I'm flipping guilty of this with my own channel because the whole way YouTube works is to get more views. You get punchier headlines, punchier titles and thumbnails. Here's a cool chop to play, like play this thing, it sounds really cool, yeah, those get more views. So the problem is you don't get taught very fundamental things. So if you want to really solidify your base on this instrument and get really good from a ground level, you're going to need an in-person drum teacher. They will take you on a journey from getting from A to B, and they will see your strengths and your weaknesses, and they will work with you through those. Now, I understand that that's not exactly available for everyone. The next best step would be to learn online, but with some sort of structure. And videos like this, or videos that people teach on YouTube, are not good enough structure for you to like really improve and stick to something. So the next best thing that I would recommend is to actually use Drumeo. If you haven't heard of Drumeo, it is the top online drum educational platform on the internet. There are thousands upon thousands of drum lessons there where drum teachers teach you courses and materials. There's something on Drumeo called the Drumeo method, which takes you from beginner drummer to pro drummer, and it's like hours of lessons that you go through, and you start there and you end there, and once you go from beginning to end, you'll be a great drummer, and that's the equivalent of doing drum lessons with a teacher. If you want to try Drumeo out, there's a free 30-day link in the description of this video. But again, that's second best option. Best option is to get an in-person drum teacher, and by not having an in-person drum teacher, that is a big mistake that a lot of drummers make. The next mistake drummers make is that they don't slow down. It is so common for drummers who learn to play things to sit down at the drums and learn a pattern and just try to blaze it as quickly as they can because they just, like, I want to learn this thing. But you need patience when you're learning this instrument, and you need to slow things way down, because the whole point of learning the drums and the way you learn drums and be the best drummer possible is to develop this thing called muscle memory. Muscle memory is when you do something over and over that your muscles eventually just take over and you do it automatically. So when you sit down in the drums and you just play without really thinking too much, that's because the muscle memory has taken over. You don't really need to concentrate on what you're playing because your body knows what to do. So to build that muscle memory, you need to play things really slowly, and slowly and progressively over time get quicker. I call this the freeway effect. If you're someone who drives a car and you go onto a freeway and you go up to 100 miles per hour, it is going to feel really comfortable going that speed because you have driven enough at 20, 30, 40 miles per hour before getting to that point. Whereas if you just learned how to drive and you got on the freeway and you drove 100 miles per hour, it would feel freaking scary and you wouldn't have enough control. If something were to happen, you would not have the foundation of driving slowly to be able to react fast enough to be safe in that situation. Same thing with drums. Start slowly, build it up so that you can get faster. When you learn something like a paradiddle, put a metronome on like 40 BPM or 50, 60 BPM before getting to 180, 200 BPM. The next mistake that a lot of drummers make is they put too much focus on rudiments. There are 40 rudiments, but honestly, the idea that you need to learn all 40 of these rudiments is overrated, outdated idea. You do need to learn all 40 rudiments, but there are 5 main ones: single strokes, double strokes, paradiddles, drags, and flams. If you, as someone learning to play the drums, just focuses on those 5 rudiments, you are A for away. All other rudiments after that will come much easier if you just focus on those. I've had students that I've taught before who have come to me and their previous drum teachers sat them down for hours trying to learn patafla-flas and just grinding those out. But why? If you haven't solidified the first ones, and those are the ones you're actually going to use. If you're playing a drum fill, that's a single stroke, and that's what's actually practical in what you play. Whereas a patah fla fla is it's more like for marching drummers and stuff. That's not really going to come over to the kit for most drummers. Again, it is good to learn, but if you focus on that and not those first 5, you are making a huge mistake. The next mistake that a lot of drummers make is that they don't film themselves playing. This is something that every single drummer in the world needs to do. Put on a camera, record yourself playing, and then watch it afterwards so that you can see what you actually sound like from a different perspective other than sitting at the drum kit and just kind of seeing yourself play from your point of view. I promise you, if you have never done this before, once you do it, you're going to realize that there are things that you are doing on the drums that sound bad. And the only way that you're going to notice that you're doing those things is by filming yourself and watching it, and then you can self-correct because you have now seen yourself make that mistake. And the more you do this, the better you'll get at identifying your weaknesses. Again, I've been playing drums for 25 years, over 20,000 hours of drumming over my lifetime, and there are still things that I only realize I'm doing wrong when I watch my videos and I see that I'm doing that thing wrong. The next mistake is a lot of drummers tend to limit themselves with the music they're exposed to. If you enjoy rock music and you just listen to rock music, that's cool, learn how to play rock drums, but if you just do that, you're not going to be the best drummer possible because drumming as an instrument is so diverse, and if you learn different parts of different styles of music, it's going to make you a much better drummer. The best drummers in the world are actually better musicians than they are drummers because they are exposed to a whole variety of musical styles, and they bring in inspiration over from each different style. So a drummer like Lionel Lewis is really good at playing jazz, but he's bringing fusion, he's bringing gospel, and he's mixing that all into his personal style of playing, and that creates Lionel Lewis. So I highly encourage you to just listen to different musical styles. You don't really need to learn how to play them. Like, you don't need to be a pro jazz drummer and a pro rock drummer at the same time. Just listen to jazz and see what those drummers are doing, and you might hear some cool stuff that then you can kind of break down and learn and bring it over. The next mistake, and I see this with a lot of newer drummers, is they take drumming way too seriously. Now that sounds kind of weird because obviously if you want to learn the drums, you got to take it seriously, you need to practice and get better. But drumming is undoubtedly the most fun instrument you can play. It's fun. People want to play drums because drumming is really a good time to like sit there and just jam out and have fun. So when you focused on grinding to get better, a lot of the time the enjoyment like disappears. So the best way to curb that is what's fun about playing drums. Mainly playing to music. You have songs that you love that you want to sit down and just play. A lot of the times drummers just forget to do that. You focus on sitting on the drums and grinding out this paradiddle and getting it quicker so that you can play it better. But is that fun? Not really. No one likes practicing. Everyone likes just jamming. So do that more and don't take things too seriously. As I mentioned earlier, you need a drum teacher, but if you are going weekly to a drum teacher who is not allowing you to play drums to songs and not feeding into that, that is not a good drum teacher. The whole point of learning to play the drums is playing with other musicians and playing to songs and playing to music. So if that's not what you're doing, drumming has become mechanical and you really want to avoid that. It's kind of like going to piano lessons and getting taught to play classical music where you actually just want to play to songs that you like. Like if you're a fan of the Beatles and you want to play Beatles music, but you're now forced to play like Bach or Mozart and whatever, that just sucks big time. So it's the same with drumming. Play to the songs you love, expose yourself to different styles of music, but make sure to have fun. The next mistake, which is actually the biggest and it has the biggest impact on you, is not protecting your ears. And this is very, 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 very serious. A lot of drummers do not wear ear protection when they are playing drums, and the problem is drums are loud. And the more you play, the more damage happens to your ears, and your hearing never comes back. It never comes back. I mean, even in this room, I've got sound panels here. These panels kind of take away all the reverb, so it's a bit quieter in here. The drums are still flipping loud, like they are very loud, and if I play in here every day without anything in my ears to protect my hearing, I'm going to go deaf down the line. Like, it is going to happen undoubtedly. And if that's you and you are playing drums in your practice room, in your bedroom, or you're playing gigs without protecting your ears, and you got big speakers here just blasting you because these are the monitors, that's bad news. Like, that is really, really bad news. And if there's anything that you can take away from this video, wear ear protection when you play drums. So those are 7 big mistakes that I've seen drummers make. They are fundamental mistakes, and if you avoid those and you just feed into fixing them, you're going to be a better drummer, you're going to protect your ears, you're going to be on a better path to getting better at this instrument, and you're going to have more fun along the way. Now, I know I mentioned that learning stuff on YouTube is not the best way, but it is a way to kind of get more ideas and get new things to play. So if you're looking for something new to play on the drums, check this video out.